Right. We're taking the heirloom forward because we're going after the reincarnated soul. I'm so used to the idea of finding heirlooms and taking them back to their families that like overrode the actual reality of the situation in my head. Whoops.
Axel, coming! Axel! Anyone! We're under attack!
You've killed men under my charge, and now you'll crown that achievement by killing me too. And you, I know your face. Why do you help these murderers?
Ryder is an ally. He's already helped the scientists at Darpalev.
I know, and they should be ashamed. After all we've been through with the Ket. Tell me why you come here, so I know why I've died.
The sages on Mithrava think you could remember the location of the third monolith, because you used to know where it is, in a past life.
The sages sent you. Those secretive fiend brains with their scutting... They don't even care that their people are being enslaved and killed by Ket. My friends died for this?
I'm very sorry. I'm just trying my best to find the third monolith and save Havarl. I have an artifact, or heirloom or something. I'm going to set it down, and I need you to take hold of it.
What? And?
Is it doing something? Doesn't look like it.
Wait. There are things like this in the museum on Aya. Ancient Angaran tech. This fits over a hand. Contacts on the inside for my electric control of... What did you do to me?
I'm having a real hard time accepting this entire scenario right now. I just gotta be honest about that. Like, Ryder's an idiot, and a just total jackass for just charging face first into like the force of enemies that always shoots us on sight without exception, and then it's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to kill them all. It's just the only thing that ever happens when we approach you people, and we did literally nothing to try to change that, or like went through any channels, or I don't know, send someone who's not a fucking alien to talk to them. Since apparently Jal, it seems like they would just talk to Jal. Why didn't we just send Jal? You have to have him in the party, I think. And I think you have to have everyone in the party at this point. So why did we not even slightly try or have the option to even try any kind of non-violent approach to the situation? We were like, we'll just walk into their camp. No big deal. Oh my god, they're fighting us. This is such a shock. Then I get double whiplash because this guy goes from like, you murdered everyone in my family, or not family, but everyone that I worked with and everyone in this entire organization. Oh my god, you monsters, why are you helping them? Then immediately he's like, oh, I guess I'll just go along with this. Just like, bam. Just whiplash, immediate change of heart. Like he's just suddenly totally up for going along with this when he should be furious and inconsolable, and this should not be a conflict that can be resolved by talking at this point. This is so beyond salvation, but it's saved anyway because nothing matters. It's such this is a really weird scenario.
Are you all right?
I know things. The underground monolith. I remember. Pain. Desperation.
I need you to take me there, please. If you do this, we can save Havarl, together.
You're an alien. I can't trust...
Then let me try to earn your trust, please.
Deep beneath the surface, but not far. Meet me here. These coordinates. I will guide you the rest of the way. Just let me compose myself first.
Let him earn your trust. Let you earn his trust. You killed all those people, even the dogs. The hell? I guess. Oh man. Okay. Yeah. This goes well beyond any level of believability of character interaction for me. Like this is like what? This is nuts. It would make more sense if we were going full renegade shepherd and just be like, no, we're gonna make you work with us and point guns at you until you do what we have to do. Like, would make more sense than this whole approach of like, I'm sorry, we didn't mean to kill everyone. It's just, we didn't even try to find another solution. We literally did not even try. It's the only way to do the quest, as far as I can tell, is just to walk up to them and just start shooting them. And then after the first encounter goes badly and you kill everybody, you're supposed to keep going forward for several more encounters without thinking maybe we could circumvent this in some way by, you know, sending a member of their race to talk to them instead of charging forward like lunatics. But I don't think that's a single other way to do the quest. Okay, message received. A new alien, a traitor, and not yet. Tavos, you've heard the new aliens. They show interest in the Remnant, just like the Ket. The Remnant is very important to Havarl, to all Angara. The alien must not be permitted to sabotage that technology. I need you to go to the monoliths. If the aliens seek the Remnant there, you and your men must stop them. Hide in the old Dar... I said dear old. I mean, it looks like dear old. Hide in the old Dar of Palav. The jungle has reclaimed it, but perhaps some structures might yet stand. The researchers that have taken over the landing zone will not find you. They are soft. They will not venture far from their station. Axul. A traitor. One of our own has joined the alien. If you see him, do not hesitate to let him know that Rokar think of his betrayal. Alright. Still, talk to any other member of the race, since they're apparently going to shoot him. That's still like crappy lip service to what should be a reasonable solution. I am not surprised to hear the scientists are working with the alien. No, do not move against them. They are still our people. I will have to think on this. What? What? How do you know the scientists and Jal are traitors, by the way? Like, this guy clearly didn't know either of those things in the conversation we just have. He was actively surprised by both things. So, what's going on? But then he got messages from Axel. Is this suggesting that he got a message from Axel talking about this becoming a traitor? But this thing suggests that Tavos sent him a message saying the scientists are traitors, and then Axel responded. Is that supposed to be after the conversation we just had? He already sent those messages and got responses? Because he was, like, actively surprised. That was the whole... So everything's a dead end out here. It's just the one portable spot. So is he coming with us or anything? Just thought I'd double check. No, he's hanging out for now. Let's take a look around camp. There's bound to be something I can use. Don't mind me, I'm just an invading alien force wiping out your people, putting colonization items everywhere, and co-opting your technology without your consent. You know, because we come in peace. This is not like the exact behavior of every invading enemy force that wipes out humanity in every movie ever. We're the good guys. Have you heard that? We're the protagonists of this game. That makes us the good guys. And none of the things we can do are questionable at all. Conquerors, translated from Shalesh. Axel heard more of the new aliens had formed an alliance with our wayward deserters, and we went to see for ourselves. It was worse than we feared. There are multiple species of these new aliens. Even worse, oh, typo. They weren't just ruling our people. They were exalted like heroes. Everywhere I looked, cowards bowed and bargained with these disgusting things, blind to the reality that they had only traded one oppressor for another. I'll never forget what Axel told us that day. All aliens are the same in the end. They want to take what's ours and turn us into slaves. The Rokar see with clear eyes, and our hearts are pure. We won't succumb to these new invaders, and we are the true resistance army. And one day, soon, all Angara of every world will know it. What is that saying? Aliens formed an alliance with our deserters. Talking about the aliens, like our ship arriving? Did they already get messages about our ship arriving on that one planet? Because supposedly they haven't interacted. Supposedly the Angara haven't interacted with any of the alliance races. I mean, council races. They just had indication they exist or something. Let's do some codex entry stuff. Arc species, Andromeda species, Angara. Data on biology, cultural history of Angara species. Whoo boy. Okay, so that's an individual. We can go past that, I think. Okay, Angara culture. Our first cultural exchanges quickly revealed that there is no homogeneous Angaran culture. Development on separate planets has left striking differences in Angaran social norms that are yet to be reconciled. Some common threads can be established. The Angara prize familial unity, preferring to live, work, and raise children in extended family groups. Political factions tend to emerge from these extended families with leaders elected by popular support. Spirituality has a role in Angaran daily life, and with their calendar making space for the religious holidays of many different faiths. As a safe and hospitable garden world, Aya has emerged as a center of Angaran society and trade, with many communities facing harsh conditions and resource shortages. A lottery system is used to transfer personnel to Aya for extended periods. These Rabba Garesen, roughly translated to sanctuary trips, also serve to pool reclaimed scientific knowledge and military strategy. Okay, so the Angaran are a singular race that has been spread, or species that has been spread across the galaxy and into different planets and actually had subcultures and stuff like that. And I guess that's what they're trying to imply when they flat out have different ways of speaking from person to person. It's all convoluted and confusing, of course, because you're getting it through the translator, but I guess that's the implication of different Earth accents being used for different Angara seems to be the implication that each of them are from different planets and have different backgrounds within Angaran culture, which makes sense, because people should be fairly varied because of the whole part where that's how Earth is. That's kind of the point. Spirituality. Spirituality plays an important role in Angaran life, and Angaran children are raised from their first moments to follow their family's spiritual traditions. Within most of Angaran faith systems, there are deities to fear or worship, and focus is placed on personal growth and the betterment of the soul. All Angara are taught the importance of meditation and quiet contemplation. One common teaching is that the soul can be heard when the mind is still. I have trouble buying the idea that all Angara taught the same meditation and contemplation ideas, just because the whole point we just heard is that they have a bunch of different subcultures throughout the galaxy, and everyone having universal teachings is unrealistic for any species. Angara also believe that the growth of a soul continues after death, through rebirth. From cultural exchanges and Angaran spiritual texts, most, if not all, Angara appear to believe in reincarnation. When a person dies, they are born within the same family. A good act performed in one life contributes to greater enlightenment in the next. The importance placed on different types of good acts seems to vary from planet to planet and even from family to family. For instance, some Angara may value acts of heroism, others acts of compassion. The variety appears limitless. There's only so many positive traits to have. I don't know about limitless. So we're kind of dealing with Assassin's Creed style genetic memories. We'll see what role that plays in the overall story and how far they stretch that one. Languages. Angaran linguistics describe between 200 and 300 public languages across their combined settlements. When accounting for family languages spoken privately and passed down over generations, the number climbs rapidly into the thousands. The language used by most Angara across Helios cluster is Shalesh, a lingua franca that was commonly used in the early days of Angaran spaceflight before fading into obscurity. New connections between Angaran settlements and constant evolution of languages since their separation means it has now seen a revival. Sources say Shalesh originally meant to barter for the moon, apparently a joke or pun around the idea of trading between interstellar colonies. Some terms, Angara, mean civilized people, those who have put down roots, derived from Anj, meaning anchor, Dar, and Lit, rock, the term for a village or small outpost. So Dar is a rock. Dar is what they call outposts. Angara is civilized people. Jarevan is galaxy. Jave Jarevon literally means our galaxy, commonly referred to Andromeda, while Jarvan Masaf, the Masaf shell galaxy, refers to the Milky Way. So they already have a specific name for exactly the Milky Way, and maybe Imasaf's going to be some sort of like anti anti-Citadel slang or something. Para, to know or learn. Shenna, the mouth. Tevatan, a friend or trusted comrade, one who would be vouched for to the rest of the family. And Vasagara, uprooted people, exiles, a derogatory term used for those from the Milky Way, most often used by the Rokar. Alright. I'm surprised we know that already? We figured that out fast, considering we just met the Rokar and have never really had conversations with them, but we already know the common form of insult they use against us. The Rokar. Jal describes the Rokar as dangerous cousins, ruthless and single-minded. The Rokar's propaganda describes their intent to drive all alien invaders, both Milky Way and Ket, out of the Helios cluster. The Rokar were founded by Axul, a charismatic Angara who once studied with the Moshe. Jal explains that Axul was captured by the Ket and held in a forced labor camp for over a standard year, while the Resistance could not risk a rescue. Though he survived, Axul was embittered against the Resistance and alien life. Upon his escape, he recruited young Angara and disaffected Resistance members into the independent force named after fearsome soldiers from Angaran mythology, the Rokar. The arrival of the Nexus, portrayed as further invaders by Axul, provoked the Rokar past breaking point. They are now engaged in full-fledged guerrilla operations against all non-Angaran inhabitants of the cluster. They're so actively engaged in anti-Citadel behavior that none of us have ever interacted with them before or know they exist. They're doing a great job of fighting us so far. Oh, crap. Man, they're sure bringing it to us. That's why none of us knew they existed yet. Alright. The Angaran Resistance officially disavows the Rokar, but family and political interconnections complicate any organized opposition to them. Yeah, some of these codex entries make me wonder what point in the game they're supposed to be read, because I don't know what level of context they're supposed to give. Like, in some of these things, it feels like they're tied to the wrong time, basically. Like, am I reading these too early, as if I'm supposed to know about the stuff from way later? Angaran technology. Considering their civilization endured both the immense disaster of the Scourge and the brutal Ket invasion, Angara possess remarkably advanced technology. Their starships, while generally small and bare-bones functional, are more than capable of keeping pace with Andromeda Initiative vessels. The Angara use advanced communications and computer systems that have quickly adapted to interface with Milky Way devices, helping to smooth through some of the technological hurdles of first contact. You don't say. That's been abundantly clear how we've just sort of skipped all of the complicated details and whatnot. Everything's fine. We all understand each other now. All of our stuff can interact with each other. We seeing each other for the first time, and they can already send us coordinates for setting down. Sure. Even though a second ago we couldn't talk to each other. When it comes to personal technology, Angara have focused primarily on defensive and offensive innovations. Their weapons and armor are impressive enough to garner approval from Krogan. Which Krogan? The Krogan that have never heard of them before and have never seen them before? Or do you just mean specifically only the Krogan that's on my ship, who has never seen their weapons or technology or been on one of their planets because he's just been sitting on my ship? I have many questions. Garner approval of Krogan to witness them in the battle. Who? When? How? And are designed to work seamlessly with the innate Angaran control over electromagnetism. I guess we're talking about the exiled Krogan? And if so, how do I know that? How do I know anything about exiled Krogan interacting with Angara? I have questions. The Angara are in turn fascinated by Milky Way Omni-tools and have already begun experimenting with the technology for their own use. How many Omni-tools are they getting access to? I guess it's only fair if Andromeda Initiative is just going to, like, randomly snatch up everyone's technology. We might as well just dump a boatload of Omni-tools on top of them and be like, hey, screw around with these, don't worry, they probably won't explode. The Angara have also had decades to study Ket technology firsthand, and if relations remain cordial, this technology knowledge may become available. Okay, that's weird. So there's a bunch of stuff that makes me feel like I'm reading this too early, like as if I'm getting information I shouldn't ever have, but then that last part ends like it is supposed to be read right now, because it's like, oh, and at this point in the story, we better worry about trying to, like, get these guys to like you, because they might give you Ket technology, unless the game's going to end, and that's still the case, and they still haven't given it to us. The Resistance. The arrival of the Ket stunned and then divided the Angara. As described by Jal, infighting was used as a means of conquest by the Ket, but the presence of a common enemy eventually galvanized the Angara to work together. The various resistance groups merged into the organized Angaran resistance roughly 5 years ago under Ephra D. Tirshav's command. Supported by prominent families and determined to stop their Ket oppressors. The resistance headquarters are on Aya. For security reasons, neither Ephra nor Jal will provide details on the Resistance's organizational structure, but it can be assumed there are multiple independent cells across the cluster. Many non-resistance Angara support their work either logistically or financially. The Resistance specializes in assassination, sabotage of Ket facilities, deployment of supplies to besieged populations, and the rescue and rehabilitation of Angaran prisoners. Many members of Angaran Resistance have joined up with the Nexus militia, enlisting Apex support for their missions. Some senior officers have opened treaty negotiations with the Nexus. So the Resistance is kind of like the Alliance from Mass Effect, well, from Earth, in that suddenly you have an incentive to have all of these humans work together, or they're kind of going to be screwed. The Angara General one. Angara are the only known sentient species local to the Helios cluster. Scattered across numerous worlds, the Angara are reuniting as a people. Though much of their culture and scientific knowledge has been lost, the Angara continue to rebuild and resist the Ket conquest of Helios. From our cultural exchanges, we know that the Angara have a unique control over electromagnetism. Specialized skin cells and organs allow them to generate and control electromagnetic fields artistically or unleash them in combat. Oral histories describe how ancient Angara were tribal and nomadic before settling into cities. Many of them still live in large, tight-knit families, and workplaces have a guild-like organizational structure. Politically, the Angara remain divided. Attempts at a reformed government were disrupted by the Ket. Approximately 5 years ago, a coherent resistance movement emerged on Aya, the first to draw unilateral political support, with the goal of driving the Ket out of Helios for good. History. Many historical records of the Angara have been lost, but what survives tells the story of how ancient Angara achieved spaceflight. Eventually, they settled on 5 separate garden worlds, including Vold. The scourge struck in approximately 2400 CE by our calendar. The phenomenon devastated the Helios cluster, destroyed many Angaran sites, and sent their culture into decline. This dark age lasted for over a century before the Angara began to adapt to the new conditions in Helios. Eventually, the disparate Angara regained spaceflight capability and re-established contact with one another. But the isolation has fostered separate cultural, political, and spiritual blocks. Even though everyone apparently has universal spiritual teachings, the Angara struggled to find common ground. This struggle was ongoing with when the Ket arrived 75 years ago. The Archon exploited their disparity and began a brutal conquest of the Helios cluster. Ironically, as several Angaran historians point out, a common enemy provided the impetus to unite. Today, the Angara continue their efforts at reconstruction and resistance. So I wonder if the Scourge has anything to do with the Ket specifically, just because the idea that the Scourge happens and weakens everybody, then the Ket show up, it almost feels like the opening salvo that you do to ruin people, then the follow-up of an invasion, like what the Reapers would do. But they waited so long that the Angara were able to reestablish spaceflight and everything, so that seems like they wouldn't have been from the same source then. So it makes you wonder if maybe the Ket are here because they're trying to figure out how to stop the Scourge in their own system or something. So Ephra D. Tirshav. Before Ephra D. Tirshav assumed command of the resistance, he claims it was a disorganized and ineffectual group of zealots who were sliding into irrelevance. In fact, Jal explains it was the Resistance's failure to protect Ephra's family from the Ket that drove Ephra to join the group, with the goal of turning it into the effective guerrilla army it aspired to be. Resistance distributed literature explains that Ephra's single-minded dedication to his cause became evident when he led a successful raid on a Ket slave labor camp, reporting that Ephra's resistance forces liberated hundreds of Angaran prisoners before wiping out an entire battalion of Ket sent to stop the attack. According to Jal, Ephra is feared by his resistance subordinates and respected by Angaran leaders, but he remains an isolated individual. He keeps no close ties, by design. Everyone in the resistance is expendable, and Ephra is said to understand too well the pain that comes with losing those closest to him. We'll get through the other ones over time, because there's a lot to go through, but we need context, because our interactions involve a lot of us rocketing forward without expanding on things, and I need more context for some of the stuff we're hearing as we go forward. It actually is a bit of a trip, so let's jump forward here. Here we go. I need to figure out how the hell Angarans work, what's with the resistance, some of the background details. Yeah, it's really hard to accept how we just stupidly charged forward and did what we did. Even if Jaw was specifically someone that may have been someone they attacked, but which is hard to say for sure because it's hard. I don't know what the timeline is of those emails we just read, because it seems like they must have come from after our interaction. Like, the implication seems to be that we interacted with that guy basically told on everyone, and then the leader responded, which means that guy has a direct line to Axul, which you would think we would go after, by the way. We just reached a computer that has a direct line to Axul, and we're not even gonna press the issue of trying to establish a line of communication and maybe even trying to reason with the leader of the entire enemy group that's dealing with us. We don't see how that might be valuable in some way. Nah, we're just gonna not do anything there. It's fine. I'm not even saying I expect them to comply. I'm just saying, like, we're not even gonna try. Isn't that part of our responsibility as, like, first contact specialists, is to try to find peaceful solutions for stuff? I just find myself hoping that we'll even just be even vaguely Picard-like as this game goes on, because we're taking the Picard role more than ever before in the entire series. Oh well. Hey Tarvos, you teleporting man.
It's here. I just have to. It helps if I steal my mind. I've been here before. Familiar. 1, 2, 3 indentations. Palm here. It worked.
Wow.
So we're just like 100% on the same side for now? He's really chill about this. Working with people who killed all his people.
Yeah. It was so close. All this time. And no one knew.
The rest of the remnant in the area may have prevented scans from detecting it.
There were remnant machines here. Zorai was able to make them stop.
How did he learn to use remnant tech? It's not like there's a manual.
Zorai watched the Watchers. That's all I'm getting. I'm not sure what it means. The others slept, but I stayed awake. Unmoving, but seeing. Learning.
Sounds like the stasis field around the first monolith. Maybe Zorai was able to shake off the effects. Maybe that changed him.
That one looks not dead. Should I be worried about that? No?
Here. There's something here. I remember.
This is a trip. It feels like we're walking around in like a coral reef or some sort of underground, like, ocean location. Which is obviously not the case, but the color scheme and, well, this stuff looks like coral structures.
Builder machines exhaust me. Mind and body must be engaged wholly or the attempt fails. I can't stop. Without the monoliths, the vault fails. Without the vault, the planet dies. I'm close. Just one more.
The sages got it wrong. Zorai was a woman. That was a voice. My voice. May I have this, Pathfinder?
It's yours. It's always been yours.
I could provide analysis via the scanner, Pathfinder. Organic matter, ancient, reads as Angara.
It's Zorai.
She died here, before she could get to the third monolith. This was me. I would like to spend some time here. But not now. The third monolith can't be far. Come on.
Should that have been a choice? I feel like that should have been a choice. Like, yes, I do agree that he probably should have the right to audio logs of his own past self and stuff like that, but like, he's a leading member of the enemy military force, and I'm giving him what amounts to intelligence data, and be like, yeah, just have it, and there's no question of that. I think some players would want to specifically not do that. I think that's a safe call.